that kind of fire in my chest, telling me to fight, to prove, to win. I don't remember how I spent the night where I slept. I just remember the pain that I clearly knew that no one wanted me.
It might be a little too spicy. Let me know if you couldn't handle it. What do you feel like, being a female founder in the male predominant, like the tech world? Have you ever been told a lie by investor, or have you ever told a lie to investor? What leadership trait you think you're lacking, but you pretend you actually have?
Okay.
So it's really nice to have Monica back with us again. This is our second official episode of Amplif.ai podcast. So welcome back, Monica. Today we have a very, very spicy question for you. Before we get into
I'm so excited.
really, really spicy question, here are just some, like conversation starter. So can you just tell us a little bit about Amplift.ai? Like, what is it in your own words?
Okay, actually, I want to share the vision or the reason why I started the Amplif.ai, because I used to work in startups leading the marketing team, and I realized that something uncomfortable. I was spending a huge amount of time on things that didn't actually matter. And I was constantly extracting data, downloading CSVs, and importing them into another tool, basically doing the work about work. And I also become a kind of poison tester. I tried like hundreds of marketing tools. Some were helpful and some of them just distract me. My attention was fragmented every single day. Then AI arrived. It was powerful, almost magical. I became obsessed with what AI could do for productivity. It's like I spent all the day with ChatGPT, and there was still a painful reality. Managing ChatGPT conversations was a mess because everything, like the blogs I asked ChatGPT to write, the random ideas and the brief for video agencies, they were just mixed together. I have to scroll endlessly just to find something. And later I noticed Cursor. It just blew my mind. For the first time, I saw AI could be like combined with workspace. I saw a place where context was organized and reusable. So I think Cursor gave me an idea to build Amplift. But Cursor is built for engineers, not for marketers. It was amazing, but too technical. That's when I think, okay, maybe it's time to build something. Why doesn't the growth team or the marketing team deserve their own AI Cursor or their own AI workspace? So I think maybe we could develop a dedicated environment, almost like a IDE, an environment for marketers to build growth, not code. So that's how the idea started. And until today, I think I could say Amplift is quite different because we don't just do the influencer discovery or social listening or AEO, etc. I think there are tools for each of those. I think what is different of Amplift is we do each node well, and then we connect the dots. Influencer insights feed directly into SEO, social listening feeds into content strategy, and AEO signals inform KOL planning. So it's not a set of features, it's a connected growth system. So let me share a very typical use case from our users. It's a real query. The user just tap in, find out what people are saying about my brand, and pull out all the popular high growth keywords, check the SEO computation for the keywords. If the keyword difficulty is quite low, please automatically write the content. If the KD is quite high, please identify the best influencers, maybe KOL or KOCs, and give me a list. That's a real query. That's a real use case. So it's basically like a system, a whole growth system for marketers and SMBs who want to develop their growth very fast.
No, yeah, I think that explained like perfectly. So here's another question. So you were mentioning you found the gap on the market, and then basically all the software can solve a part of the problem, but not the whole problem. So, like in my mind, I
Exactly.
guess, I don't have like the founder personality. So like, my immediate thought just went to, okay, cool. I can find like, one software to fix this part of the problem. I can find another software to figure out like another part of the problem. So why don't I just,
Mhm.
find different software and try to help me to solve the problem instead of creating a brand new software, which incorporate all the basically platform into one. So like, yeah, like that's kind of my question. Like, why did you decide to become a founder instead of just finding the solution for each part of the problem and connect the dots? So what's your thoughts
Yeah.
behind that?
I think at the very beginning to start this company, my goal was actually very narrow. Yes, I wanted to build something meaningful, but deep down, I was like, I also want to prove myself, prove that a female founder can stand up in the AI wave. It's kind of narrow end, but it's my honest thought. And it came from a place of fire, or maybe I could say even revenge. And to be honest, that mindset had a lot of to do with my childhood. I was born in a small town in a very chaotic family. I was kind of ignored, left out, and at times, and literally, like, I don't think my parents cared about me a lot. I still remember the day they got divorced. Neither of them wanted to take me. So they just keep calling cars, sending me from one home to another home. And I spent the whole afternoon in transit, sitting in the back seat, confused, unwanted. Until my grandma finally said, let the child finish the dinner before you send her away. I don't remember how I spent the night where I slept. I just remember the pain that I clearly knew that no one wanted me. And later, my relationship with my stepmother was extremely difficult. Those 10 years were very hard. And so I pushed myself to start study very hard to like escape from my home. And it's like I put everything into proving that I mattered. I was worth something. I, it's like I think I want to prove that I shouldn't deserve all the things. And that mindset, the hunger, the fire followed me into right now, this moment, and into my early entrepreneurship. It's kind of like that kind of fire in my chest telling me to fight, to prove, to win. But something unexpected happened. I think after I just started this company, I think my team killed me. Also, my husband killed me. And he's a very nice guy. And I think the team give me a sense of safety I had never experienced before. For the first time, I realized I no longer needed to like prove myself to build something out of pain. I can build something out of purpose, out of vision, out of willings. So I think that it's like okay, I the first reason for this startup or the first reason is like it's like very like a revenge. But I think right now I get over it and I keep moving and I find the real calling and the vision.
Well, that's a powerful story. Yeah, you brought me into tears. So thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, I don't know like what to say other than like, yeah, I think you did really good. And then I think you should be very proud of yourself.
Mm,
And I think, a lot
yeah.
of women, men, a lot of the young kids gonna like look up to you because I feel like, especially in our like Chinese culture, is very
Mhm.
I don't want to use the word common, but I feel like it is kind of common for the, girls to feel like, they're not being
Mhm.
noticed. They're kind of like not important. Parents are not like paying more attention to the boys, so I completely
Mhm.
get that feeling. And I feel like that's kind of like how everything started was the company. But you said something like very meaningful. You said like the company, like, like you always have like the drive, you have like the unquit like fire in your heart, just like keep going, but you kind of like found purpose through kind of like chasing the dream. And like, you just feel like I'm not proving this to anybody because I'm actually doing a great project. So there's more meaning within that alone. That is enough. So I think that's a very powerful message. And you know, like that leads to my next question, because majority of the founder of like any source, and I would say like predominantly in the AI and the tech space are male. So like, what do you feel like, you know, being a female founder in the male predominant, you know, like the tech world? And then what are kind of like some of the challenges experienced? And then what are kind of the unique perspective, you know, you think being a female founder that give you advantage in this industry?
Okay, I think maybe the female traits are like my advantages because I could combine the empathy and as well as the how to say the tough traits together. And I think maybe it could be my motivation to keep the company, keep the business moving. I think it's kind of basic. And I want to say it's not like, okay, we could see the data, we could see the statistics. The male founder will get high possibility to succeed. I think maybe we should look at the personalities, look at the traits behind the gender. It's like we could see so much difference between a person and a dog. Yeah, I love dogs, by the way. But we could also respect the difference between a male and a female. So we don't put so much. We don't have to put the tags into female or male founders because you know you have to sense, you have to feel the personality behind their gender. So I have to say it's quite difficult to be a female founder in this world because I was rejected by many investors because they don't invest in female founders. I could like understand this kind of situation because maybe they look at the data, maybe they have been hurt by other female founders. I don't know. I don't know the exact reason, but I think maybe is okay. There are someone they don't want to invest in you, but it's okay because you can just show your results, show your progress. So it's okay for me, but I know that for many other female founders, it's too hard to raise money, and maybe I could help them because I'm a female too. But to be honest, the core of raising money is to get your business plan clear, is to show your authenticity. It's not about your gender. So yeah, it's quite difficult, but maybe I think maybe next year or this year, people will say, okay, we noticed a female founder, they build so good things. I think it's Amplift. I hope it's Amplift.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have faith in you. I have faith in us as well. So yeah. So yeah, that leads to my next question. Why do you think you say you're being rejected by a lot of investors, but that also means you got a lot of yeses from investors. So why do you think the investor said yes, since there's like, you know, like a
Okay. Okay. I think the first reason is our direction is quite clear. We are not confused about who we are, and we don't get confused about what kind of problem we want to solve. But I think what really reached them was the intention behind our clarity. We are not building Amplif to chase the hype. We are building it because we indeed see a better way for people to work, and we are willing to devote our lives to making that real. And the second reason I think is our team. We have a team across the world, like you're based in Los Angeles, and we have other teammates based in San Francisco and other city, Miami. Yeah, but everyone is grounded, humble, and kind. People say AI makes team faster, but I think kindness or say empathy is what makes teams strong. And investors can sense we are not just a team, but a place where people heal, grow, and become better version of themselves. So, and the last part, to be honest, I think is maybe it's because I'm sincere. I don't hide the messy parts of the story. I don't pretend I have known everything. I have figured everything out. When I speak with investors, I bring my whole self. The parts of it's like the parts of maybe pain and the fire. I will show all of the things to them. Maybe it's the authenticity they can sense that make them to invest to us. And also, I think we are building something real with real people with real hearts. And yeah, I think that's why they chose us.
Absolutely. I think that's a great answer. I don't know if you remember like our first interview. That's what made me want to, like join the team. I was like, this is probably the most like the realist, interview, most honest interview I probably had in like probably all my entire career. And I think, I spoke with a lot of teammates, and then they said the same thing. You're the one who drawn them into the company, but even with all like challenges and roadblocks we have to come through. And I think, being authentic is like the most important part, because I feel like investors see so many like, like founders see so many like cases, they can smell like bullshit from a mile away, right? So I feel like a lot of like founders, just trying to present the best part of their project. So they're only offering like the part of the puzzle, but they're not telling the whole story. So I feel like that's really good advice for like, like our aspiring founders as well. So not only show the, the good part, show what benefits you the most, but also show like kind of the whole picture. I feel like, yeah, that's the most important part about like, because this all come down to, yes, like, like investors want to make money. Like we want to, advance in the, the next stages. But I feel like there's also about like human interaction, kind of going back to your previous point. I feel like that is what, the most lacking the, the modern society. I feel like that's kind of why I talk to a lot of like the older generation, and then they're most concerned about AI is like they kind of afraid, like the AI gonna take the sincerity part out of the, everyday like life. If like we're not, being sincere to each other, we're not talking face to face, we're asking like the algorithm to solve our problem. How do you expect the human, interaction to be? So I feel like, yeah, that like, answered the question perfectly. So thank you for that. And kind of divert from, all investor stuff. I would like to know a little bit more about you. So, like, what is the one thing you'll never compromise on, even if it risks the whole company?
Okay, I think is the recruitment standard. I could stand, okay, we are short with manpowers, but I couldn't stand with the situation that we just like hire somebody just BS without, making the things happen.
Absolutely. That's a great answer, yeah. And then kind of go pivoting back to the investor. Have you ever been told a lie by investor, or have you ever told a lie to investor?
Okay, let me think.
It's okay. It's okay to say no if you never, like.
I don't think it's like a line because the story I present to our investors, I think we have already like kind of pivot because the story was too ideal and it could deliver some AI products very fast. But I don't think they just solve their daily problems. So we pivot a little bit. It's not a line. It's like we just change our strategy and our product roadmap after we talk with more than 100 users.
Absolutely. So you actually listen and then figure out what people's needs are, and you shift your strategy based on that. And I think that's very crucial, for any startup. So really,
exactly, because I think there's a huge gap between the investor taste and the real problems, the real pain points. Yeah,
absolutely. I 100% agree. So like, what was the first person, if you can remember, that told you what you're building wouldn't work? Whether it's like from a friend, from family, from investor, do you remember like who was the first one who told you this is a bad idea? You should not be doing this.
Actually, it's a user from Europe. He was based in Spain, and he told me that, okay, you build a beautiful product, and I could see there's many AI features in it, but I will tell you the truth. It's beautiful, but it is useless because you concentrated too much on AI instead of the real problems. And if you want to deliver the better user experience, you have to deep dive into the real scenarios, and you have to build up some features not very sexy but useful. Like in the very beginning, we just rolled out an AI agent product into the market, and many marketers or agencies try it out, but they think, okay, it is kind of sexy, but I don't think the accuracy rate is high, and I don't think it could deliver me the accurate results compared to the last generation products like Hypermeter or the database companies. And we have a thorough consideration on it. We decided to pivot because we don't care the AI hype, we care the real users.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's very interesting. And you kind of like shifted the like strategy a little bit more to offering like the real solution instead of building like a AI agent, right? Brilliant.
So we just throw the AI agent idea into the trash bin because maybe the idea or the concept is sexy, but when it comes to the real scenarios, I don't think they are useful. And I think maybe we should develop a product for users instead of for investors. So that's our kind of, it's a pivot.
Absolutely. So here's another question. Is might be a little too spicy. Let me know if you couldn't handle it. So, what leadership trait you think you're lacking, but you pretend you actually have?
Okay. I think I pretend that I am a tough guy. Actually, I'm not that tough, but I have to be serious about the deadline, the plans, how to meet with the plan on time, how to deliver the features on time. I pretend that I am tough, but I am a very flexible woman, but I have to pretend, okay, we have to deliver that because we promise to our users. It's a serious promise. We have to be we will try everything to deliver that. There's no excuses.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think you were pretending to be a tough guy. You were just really on time with everything. And I think, there's a very important part in any business for the business to have somebody who like crack the whip and then just make everything, like follow like a specific like calendar or like timeline. Because I think without that, there won't be any deliverable results. So I appreciate you sharing that. And then let's dive a little bit more into the AI part. So what is the biggest trap you think AI founders fall into? And how close were you to falling into it? Or did you actually fall into it?
Okay, I think that's an extremely perfect question for every AI founders, for every AI founder. And because for our generation, I think it's quite easy to get carried away by the model, the capabilities, the benchmarks, and forget that people don't live inside models. They live in messy, fragmented queue workdays. And because a lot of founders end up shipping cool demos, sexy features, or look what AI can do moments, but not something people can actually use every day. So to be honest, I was very close to falling into that trap myself because in the very beginning, I was obsessed with showing AI's capabilities, showing what AI could do. I want to prove myself, prove the tech, prove that I could be useful. And I kept thinking in terms, we can do this and automate that we added. And also at the very beginning, we just roll out it's like a general AI agent. And I get extremely satisfied with the data. We could see DAU speed of new user onboarding involvement, but later we could see the retention rate is not as the trap I used to into. So I think most founders will get into this trap as well. And each time, a lot of conversations with growth operators and also the SEO specialist. For me, the real isn't a smarter, is a more with is has daily features. I think that's the core value.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a great lesson for all the AI founders. I totally get where you're coming from because everybody start, chasing this brand new thing and make sure all the features are like perfect before they actually bring out even to customers and like not really hear what customer needs. So I feel like, yeah, that's a great answer. And thank you so much for sharing that. And on a lighthearted note, so there's a group chat created within the company without you? What do you think the name of the group chat will be?
Okay, actually, I did know that there's a group chat without me, and I used to see the name because they were like sharing their screen for other things, but I accidentally see the name is far away from boss. The name is far away from boss because I used to basically me and the Shanghai team, they just had a group chat. And also maybe someday I could see a group chat the US team as well created.
So you mentioned, we have a lot of like team member base like all over the world. So what are some of the challenges or tips you've given, like other founders try to manage like an international team?
Okay, I have to say that's a very difficult part because you have so many teammates all over the world. And my tip is to hire the right person. Hire the person with strong motivation, just like you, who is self-driven, who is self-motivated, and give them the clear goal and give them the reward, give them the high reward. And also, you have to develop a strong heart that you could place trust into others. If you are lacking a sense of safety, I think the things will get tougher because you don't trust anyone. You have to monitor them. You have to know whether they are working because it's midnight in China, but it's the day time in US. So I think we have to develop a stronger heart and also show empathy, show kindness to the teammates because you have to cherish the how to say 缘分. Sorry.
Right? Cherish the bond, right? Yeah, the serendipity in life, like how we got connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Cherish the contribution and cherish the moments, cherish the reason why we met, why we work together. I think is kind of like maybe there is some arrangement from the fate. So okay, that's the first tip is to how to develop the mindset. And second tip is to give them bigger scope, give them flexible scope for them to inspire their motivation. Yeah, I think the second tip. And also choose the software to like mandate or I don't know linear to do the project management is kind of useful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are great tips. And yeah, that concludes all the questions. I just have one bonus question and I'll let you get off. So the last question being, if you can do one thing differently, if you're going back to the point where you just start creating the company, if you can do one thing differently, what would that thing be?
A great question. One thing. Okay, just one thing, right?
Or two things, like whatever your heart desires.
I will try harder to recruit the best guys like you. I wish I could met you earlier. Yeah, I think because I think every progress comes from people. It's not comes from AI or something randomly or all the progress. Beautiful. Comes from people. So I think people
the last part and put on my LinkedIn, right? It's like the best compliment I've ever gotten from anybody.
Okay. My pleasure. Actually, it's my pleasure. So yeah, I think that's the thing I regret. I haven't started or I don't think I tried hard enough to accomplish the recruitment goal. So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing is I regret raising too much money. Yes, that's a very honest answer because I don't think raising more money is totally a good thing for every company. Because if you raise too much money over than what you need, I think it's not good for the team. It's not good for the founder when he or she makes some decisions. So I think we have to stay stay a little hungry to know, okay, we have to ship fast. We have to go. We have to earn money and ASAP. I think if I could start this company once again, I will not raise that much money. And I think for me, I have enough confidence to earn money in maybe the next 6 months, 1 year. So I have the confidence I could have a very dedicated plan to make money. So I don't have to raise so much money at that time. And I think money is like it's like a tool. It's a means instead of the goal. And many founders, the fundraising as the pioneer website, but I don't think the fundraising is the most key, most important thing. I think it's just to utilize money to fuel your instead of you need money to start or you need money to save your company. You have to consider very clearly to see the position of the fundraising.
Oh yeah, that's actually offer a very different perspective because I heard like, you know, like the most thing, I feel like the most common thing that founder complains about is like not raising enough money. You're the first one that I heard is like, oh yeah, like I regret raising too much money because, but I totally get where you're coming from because like I get it. Like you need to stay hungry because if you raise like, you know, so much money, you're like, you know, guaranteed to live, you know, how many ever years, you just be kind of like losing the drive. So I completely get it. But I feel like, you know, it's like a good product. That's why, you know, all the investors like want to jump on board, you know, at the earlier stage. So yeah, I feel like you should be proud of yourself. So, and that brings up to the end of our second podcast. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We learned a lot. I hope the audience learned a lot as well. And then we'll be having our first press release coming up shortly. So be sure to check at the link down below to see, you know, more amazing things that we do. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you. And you, I enjoyed the conversation a lot. And thanks for your time and see you.
see you.
Yeah.